Today we're going to talk about trauma, and trauma affects every one of us. It's either you are aware of it or you are not aware of it. So I'll go back to that passage that we read. You'll be amazed how that passage connects to trauma. If somebody can read that place again, if it can be displayed on the screen, that would be great.
And they bring a blind man unto him, and besought him to touch him. And he took the blind man by the hand, and led him out of the town. And when he had spied on his eyes, and put his hand upon him, he asked him if he saw aught.
Till 24, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And he looked up and said, I see men as trees walking.
Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
Let's put our finger on that verse 24. I see men like trees walking. If I can just throw it open to us here, who, in your own words, when you hear trauma, what comes to your mind? In your own words, what do you understand as the meaning of trauma? In your own words, interactive. I'll point you if you don't point it. Martins? When you hear the word trauma, just what? You don't have to give me Google definition. What comes to your mind?
Trauma is something horrible that happens.
Something horrible.
Yeah.
Sister Ogo, even if it's just one word, what comes to your mind? Trauma.
Trauma is a past event that reoccurs and left you with some
Positive or negative feeling? Negative.
Yeah.
Good. See, Brother Austas,
I would say
when you hear trauma, what comes to your mind?
more of a mental pain.
Mental pain. Mental pain. That will take us to the next slide. Trauma, mental pain. Sister Bay,
The mind is on rest.
unrest. So trauma is that injury to the mind, emotions, something that has left a mark. An unforgettable experience that scars the soul. A disturbing, distressing experience. See, when I asked us to throw those buzzwords, none of them were positive. Trauma is an emotional wound leading to psychological injury. Now, back to that passage. It says, especially verse 20. Okay, now, so this is a man that has been blind all the days of his life. And when Jesus healed him and asked, what do you see? He said, I see men like trees. Now, he was able to describe men like trees because he hasn't seen men before. And the scar of being blind for so many years has made him to think that he is so small. And I'm sure while in his blind state, he has heard from, of course, when the vision is down, other senses, common sense of hearing, sense of imaginations. He must have heard that trees are tall, trees, that kind of a thing. He would have started imagining how objects will reflect in his brain. Now he's seeing men like trees walking because that's the only way he could describe it. Because the trauma of being blind for so many years is still affecting him. Praise the Lord. Now, most of us, the kind of lifestyle we're living right now is based on the effects of our childhood trauma, or even one kind of event that has left a negative mark in our life. And sometimes it makes us to build a fence around our life. It makes us to build one kind of personal life principle. I won't let this happen to me again. There was some time I learned that there are like concussion. I learned that in the medical world they said you're only allowed to have it only twice in your life. If you survive the first one, you might not survive the second one. Some of us, our resilience strength is different. There's some kind of stress that will hit us. Your body will just build an imaginary fence as in, I don't want to get to this space anymore. And then when you build that space, because you want to protect your heart, you want to protect your soul, you don't want that injury, you don't want that psychological injury anymore. The first time you experienced it, you didn't like the space it kept you. You didn't like the experience. Now, in order to now protect yourself, You now build this imaginary fence around you. I said, no, I don't think I will be able to withstand this kind of experience the second time. And in order to avoid that, the only way I can build a security around my psychological life is to build this imaginary fence. And then you start unconsciously, bringing out some kind of, okay, how do I protect myself? Okay, what led me to this kind of space? Okay, I trusted too much, right? I was too nice. Okay, I opened my doors too wide. Oh, I laughed too much. That kind of a thing. You start assessing. By the time you now analyze yourself, okay, this is what led me to that, you now start doing the direct opposite. And that is where it will now lead to most of us. When you now meet people that want to love you genuinely, you hurt them. Now, somebody wants to come into your space to love you genuinely for who you are. But because somebody has betrayed you in the past, somebody has left a psychological injury in your life, something has injured your mind and your emotions, there's an unforgettable scar